Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Uncanny Trek's very special, actually not very special, but very short coverage of the Superman 2023 cartoon. We are talking episode 6, My Adventures with Mad Science. It originally aired on August 3rd, 2023. Matt, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Doing all right, Bob. Very surprised by the villains in this particular episode. Did not think I would see them again after my introduction to them in the Young Justice cartoon.
Indeed, indeed. Also, are you just surprised that they're handled relatively well, given the previous track record?
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with the characters. They didn't make them like too tech heavy. How do you say his name, Bob? You say it so much better than me. Mansa Masoon. How you say it?
Mansoor Mallah.
Mansoor Mallah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we didn't have a robotic ape or anything like that.
Yeah, and I guess to start off with villains, so early in the episode we have Lois talking a lot about her father's survival training. So it seems to mean that we are almost certainly near the revelation that the evil general in this cartoon series is General Sam Lane.
Yeah, it's totally Sam Lane, Bob, and my theory is that he's going to become Doomsday or some other big ass monster by the end of the series.
Interesting, interesting. I think that's a good bet. I would not have thought about it, but it's a good bet. I even sort of like the idea, which maybe makes me look like a hypocrite because I've been so angry about how the show has handled Parasite and Silver Banshee and to a lesser extent The Mist. But I gotta say, Doomsday, he's kind of dumb, so I don't really care what they do with him.
I always kind of liked his original origin though, Bob. Like I didn't have a problem with it. The thing is sent out and has to constantly evolve into this creature that's better and more powerful and can withstand more. What's your issue with that?
It's not a terrible origin, but can you look at Doomsday and tell me that's really the most highly evolved organism to ever exist?
I mean, he's like a gray human and he's got some spikes.
With some bones.
Haven't you ever needed like a damn spike, Bob, to open something? And would it be cool to already have it?
Haven't I ever wished I could have like little bone lines in front of my eyes to protect them?
Yeah, you never get your eye poked out. That's a static step in evolution, Bob. That's what we're all going to look like. You've been reading too much
Yeah,
X-Men.
that's the future, okay?
We're not getting laser eyes, Bob.
But no, I get bones out external to me and I get to punch real good, huh?
We're getting sun protective skin. It's going to be gray. Your hair's just going to all be bleached white. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, this is what climate change is going to do to us. I will say I don't remember what the details of this are, and I certainly don't enjoy reading comics that delve deeply into Doomsday's origin. But tying him more into being Kryptonian, which I think they did in like the late '90s and maybe in that Hunter Prey series,
Yeah.
that makes a certain amount of sense to me.
Yeah, there's more involved with the story. It just keeps getting... But then, of course, you have these other iterations of him, like the one from Superman v. Batman,
Yeah, yeah.
which was terrible. And then you have the one from Smallville, which I think he was just like, almost like a science experiment type thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
nothing crazy.
So I do want to ask. Like, it does seem like almost certainly this is General Sam Lane. Certainly they've been teasing it with Lois's survival training, Lois's hatred of secrets, blah blah blah. But do you think it's so obvious that they're faking us out?
No, I think it's pretty standard
Okay.
here. They're just gonna end up. He's gonna be a big bad. We're gonna see an anime super fight at the end of this
Yeah.
season.
I guess the question is, are they targeting this at people who would know that Sam Lane is the general, or are they targeting it at people who are not super familiar with the Superman mythos and who that would be a surprise to? I mean, either's fine. It's not a value judgment. I'm just sort of curious.
They're wanting. I think they're targeting to people who don't know, because that would be a pretty cool reveal. But most of us are kind of like, we
I
know
also,
what's going on.
I also sort of wonder, and again, this is just one of those things where it's like I could learn, but I'm not going to watch a lot of cartoons. Sorry. But like in anime conventions, like,
Bob, I've got like
is-
800. I got like 800 hours of podcasts that that say differently.
hey, most of those are not about cartoons. And the ones that are about cartoons are about relatively contained shows.
There you go.
But I'm not going to watch a bunch of anime. But I wonder, is it an anime convention to have, like, do they more tend to surprise reveals, or do they more tend to kind of like more like seeded, more obvious reveals. Does that question make sense?
That's a good question, and I don't really know. I don't have much exposure to anime other than this like one series that my brother used to enjoy called Yu Yu Hakusho.
What was that about?
It was about this dude who like he's a spirit detective. He gets murdered and comes back as this detective that can basically shoot spirit energy from his finger.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna
And,
watch
there,
it.
and there's
That's pretty cool.
the big part was there's like this like season long tournament where all these people in the Nether Realm fight, and that was the cool part.
Yeah, yeah. The only one I've watched is Cowboy Bebop, which I watched back in college, and it's fine. It's fun. I've seen a few anime movies, and I might watch a few more. I might watch the series for Ghost in the Shell, but yeah, just generally not my bag. Nothing against it, but not my bag. One other fan theory to throw at you, Matt, that I just happened to see on the internet the other night. I did see one fan theory that said the Sam Lane stuff is a fake out. It's too obvious. The general is actually Zod. What do you think of that?
Oh shit! Didn't think about that.
I think it's kind of dumb, right? Like, why would Zod be
It
serving
could
the
be,
American
but then that
government?
explains how he has access to that tech and stuff.
It does explain that, but I just Zod being willing to serve the American government seems very wrong to me.
Yeah, that's off. There's got to be something else going on there. Like maybe he thinks he's in control of it. I don't know. There's got to be more to that. It's worth thinking about.
It is worth thinking about. Yeah, it was. I don't know. It felt very wrong, but also it was an interesting fan theory, which so many fan theories are not interesting. So, Matt, at the end, when it is revealed to be General Sam Lane, will one of us get to do the equivalent of what Jimmy declared in this episode and go, at least before I die, I got to see a super intelligent French gorilla, which means I was right about everything?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I'm still surprised that this French gorilla Bob has made at least two appearances I know of in animated series. Has he been in other stuff too?
Other media, like other animated or movie.
Yeah, was he in Brave and the Bold or anything like that? Did you see that show?
I did see Brave and the Bold. He probably was, but I don't remember Brave and the Bold well enough to say. He's a Monster Mala and the Brain, usually a duo. Usually big Teen Titans or Doom Patrol villains, although they can obviously, serve other heroes too. They're pretty old school characters. They've been around since the '60s, and yeah, they're a couple which Grant Morrison introduced in his Doom Patrol run in the late '80s.
So when we say a couple, they're like they're together.
They're together.
So the gorilla and the robot brain.
Yes, they're moving, they're grooving, they're doing it, Matt.
Okay. Good for them.
So I don't think they've ever been tied to Cadmus before. You remember Cadmus, of course.
Yes, that's the group that cloned Superman to make Superboy.
Yeah, yeah, and they originated, I think, in the Jack Kirby's run on Jimmy Olsen in the '70s, and they tended to be more associated with like cloning, and also a bit more sinister. Whereas the Star Labs and Superman tended to be more associated with technology and to be a bit less sinister, and I think was introduced in the '80s.
Yeah, Cadmus was always kind of sneaky with their stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a new name. It's not one I've heard before, but I like them calling Cadmus Area 52. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty rare.
And yeah, of course, Cadmus, like you said, Cadmus was big in the Young Justice animated show. Although maybe not as big as you would expect from the first two episodes, but still they're around a fair bit in that show. So Matt, usually Monster Mala and the Brain are both French, but they make the Brain German, which is fun. And it can give you an allegory of contemporary EU politics of the relationship between France and Germany.
I need to dig and see if they did like live action versions of these characters in the Doom Patrol show.
I've only seen the first season, but they probably did.
I'll say they had to, right?
Yeah, the Doom Patrol have a bigger rogues gallery than you would think, but it's not that big. I'm almost positive they weren't on Titans. I've seen most, not all of Titans, but most of Titans.
Well, it looks like yes, they were. Well, I'll be damned. Live action.
Way to own me on that. I should have thought about the Doom Patrol show earlier.
Live action Gorilla Man.
I also wonder if they showed up on one of the Arrowverse shows at some point too.
In honor of not giving the lead Green Arrow actor any kind of like
Yeah, Green Scab, I believe he's named
Yeah,
as.
I don't want to make him trend.
So, Matt, do you like the Jimmy has always known trope, which sometimes comes up in Superman?
I really like that Jimmy Olsen actually he did know,
Yeah,
but the reason he didn't say anything was because he respected Clark's personal life. That seems like it really fits with today's world. Like, it's like
that's funny.
I mean, we're like we already know, we get it, we don't care. It's your life, even though it's like
Yeah.
your friend's a superpowered hero that could bend still with his bare hands.
I can't remember if Matt Fraction or Brian Bendis wrote this scene, but I really like back when they did the Superman disclosing a secret identity story a few years ago. I did like that Jimmy basically explained it to Superman as I used to think that there were two people who called me Jim, and then one day I realized there was just one.
Oh,
Very sweet, very sweet. So I also really did enjoy that he actually is pissed that Clark told Lois first. That was pretty funny.
all right. Well, let's talk about some villains real quick. Some villains other than the main villains. We had a lot of characters that just showed up in this.
Yeah. So did you think you recognized those weird red robot eyes?
Okay, once they name dropped them, I was like, oh, okay, it was kind of obvious, but I did not even put two and two together until they said
I
OMAC.
thought they looked familiar, but I couldn't think of a connection. And yeah, they're revealed to be OMAC, which is the one-man Army Corps. I think the first time they're not really associated with Cadmus, but it's interesting that OMAC is also a Jack Kirby creation, in opposition to Cadmus, another Jack Kirby creation, although they've never been connected to my knowledge. But yeah, originally like in the 70s, OMAC is like a kind of future Captain America, but in the 2000s, in a series Matt used to own, what was it called? It was an Infinite Crisis tie-in.
Infinite Crisis, yeah.
Oh, it's called OMAC Project.
Yeah, it was one of the tie-ins for that.
Yeah, they reveal like the OMAC, the satellite that controlled the OMAC in the original 70s series, Brother Eye, is in the 2000s created by Batman in order to, spy on the world, blah, blah, blah. And it's gone evil and out of control and has all these OMAC robots serving it.
Yeah, and the OMAC has a mohawk.
Yeah. The 70s Captain America OMAC has a mohawk. The robots called OMAC in the 2000s just kind of seem to be, a lot of robots.
Yeah, but the OMACs in the 2000s also have a mohawk. It's just not as it's more computer looking.
Okay, I didn't remember the computerized mohawk.
Yeah, it's a more computerized mohawk. Such a dumb design for a character. God.
No, it's awesome.
It's a cool character, but it's just a stupid design.
It's an awesome design.
It's awful.
You need a mohawk. You need a mohawk. Yeah. So this, we said this up front, but it is interesting that OMAC, the brain, and Masu Mala, not exactly like they appear in the comics, but that's fine. Like they get what's cool and interesting about these characters, and they use it. They adjust it for the context. That's great. Just a marked contrast to the lame use of Silver Banshee, Mist, and Parasite.
Yeah, but at the very end of this episode, Bob, we're introduced to what looks like another villain, and I think it was supposed to be Metallo.
I got to be honest with you, Matt. It's only been 2 days, and I already just don't remember.
Damn, Bob. I think it was Metallo.
It doesn't help that I got pretty drunk Friday night, and then I had way too much meat last night. It's affected my ability to form long-term memories.
Well, there you go.
No, I'm sure it's Metallo.
I think we're getting Metallo next week, Bob. It's gonna be cool.
Do you prefer to call him a Metallo or Metal Zero?
Metal Zero.
Yeah, you turn the O into a zero. I always thought that was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I think next week, Bob, we're definitely getting Metallo.
All right. Well, we'll maybe be here next week. Again, no promises with this show, but thanks for listening to our Uncanny Treks abbreviated coverage of Superman 2023. I am Bob in Cascadia. That is Matt in the Southland. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.